Oh man, look. Wow, let's just get right into it. I mean, just I finished watching Ahsoka. This is my immediate reaction of Ahsoka episode 4. All I can say is like wow, wow. And look, if you're new here and you're browsing and you've reached this channel, I just want to say welcome. Thank you so much. And you don't have to worry. This is a spoiler-free episode, so let's just dive on in. I mean, this episode is just pure Star Wars magic, man. I mean, the mythology, the battles, the tension. I mean, you name it. It has everything. The villains, the lightsaber duels. It's just the whole Star Wars package. Now, the real question is this movie just for fan service, or does it generally advance the plot? And I'm here to say that it absolutely does. It does advance the plot, and the stakes are a lot higher, and the mysteries are even deeper. And there's some real what the heck moments, like what just happened moments, and you'll be left wondering if all this fits into where it's going. And the beautiful thing is that it really does. And let me tell you, there are some serious hand to hand actions from my man Hu Yang. That was definitely a highlight in this for sure. But let's not forget that, excuse me, there are several things that go down in this episode. And one thing that everyone kind of expected when it happened, I was like, all right, all right, all right, that's cool. But then there's this other thing that everyone keeps buzzing about, the big reveal. And that's when it's like, okay, we're this is really big. And we're going into deep into that part of the big reveal in the spoiler part of this instant reaction. I just want to let you know. So but let me tell you, I feel that this show connects all the Star Wars. It's not just an Ahsoka's journey. It's Dave Filoni, man. I mean, he's really cooking up something special, and it feels really good, and especially after this episode. But I do want to say, like, look, if you guys have seen this, or well, let me go this. This is the spoiler section of this because this is one of those shows and episodes that you have to talk about. There's no way that I can do this instant react, or at least diving a little deeper into it. So I will say this: spoilers. If you haven't seen it, pause this, go watch it, come back, and then we can just kind of dive into it. So I'm going to give you my thoughts. I mean, so here we go. This episode starts off with Ahsoka, and it starts off with Ahsoka like knowing that there's a hard choice that they have to make, and she asks Sabine, is Sabine ready to make this hard choice of not allowing Ezra to come back in order to prevent Thrawn? So in the end, when Sabine makes that decision to not destroy the map, I mean, I felt like, I could understand. I mean, I could understand why she made that decision, even though ultimately it's not the best decision, and the decision is not a good decision because you're literally not allowing something to be destroyed to let this great evil wind up coming upon the galaxy. But I could understand. I mean, she has that deep chemistry with Ezra, and so I get it. The lightsaber battles with Ahsoka, Sabine, Shin, and Marak was really good. And I really enjoyed the intensity in that fight, especially when they were like having like that samurai standoff with Ahsoka and Marak. I think his name's Marak or Marok. I'm not sure. But this is the thing about Marak. All those theories out there, was he Ezra? Was he Starkiller? Shoot, I even thought he was Barris. I mean, they were really all put to bed. I mean, so basically Marak was just some regular Sith Inquisitor in just a really cool suit, and I must admit that the suit is pretty badass. But the fight was really great. I thought it was really well choreographed. Now, granted, some people may say it's a little too slow, but I love the intensity of the fight, and especially when Sabine had those two guns, and Shin and Sabine's fight was really well because Sabine wanted to get back at her for besting her the first time around, but didn't mean anything. She bested Sabine again, and that was just really cool. Oh my gosh, the fight between Balin and Ahsoka was so intense. I mean, their verbiage back and forth about Anakin. I mean, Balin just has this gravitas with him. He just has an immense gravitas with him that I love. When he's on camera, you are feeling every moment, and seeing those two stand off against each other was phenomenal. It was absolutely incredible. I couldn't wait to see what was going to happen. I mean, honestly, just seeing that whole scene was so great. And Balin and Shin, I mean, at least from my opinion, are some of the best bad guys that we've ever had in Star Wars, and the reason is for that is basically because of the layers. We know what happens in that fight. You know, Balin gets the best of Ahsoka because Ahsoka does grab the map, but she gets hurt, and in doing that, you know, she's weakened, and you know he's going to take advantage of that now because she's weak. So at that particular moment, you know, Balin is about to get Ahsoka, and Ahsoka realized like, oh man, Shin shows up, so Shin must have killed Sabine, so she's all, you know, flustered right at this moment. But then when you see Sabine show up, and Ahsoka's like, yo, you gotta do it, you gotta destroy the map, and she has a hesitation, it's like, oh snap, she's not going to do it. And of course, Balin takes full advantage of that and gets one whack at Ahsoka, and you know she falls over the cliff. This is when it gets to the part of the story that everybody keeps buzzing about, and look, let's just go ahead and talk about it. So at this particular part, I kept thinking when they were starting to show Ahsoka, like, was she in the water? Like, where was she? And it slowly brings this reveal, and you realize that she is a world between worlds. I mean, I remember this from Rebels. Seeing her in the world between worlds was awesome, and I do wonder where they are going in the next episode. But that's when you hear the word snips, and dude, I fucking lost it. I fucking lost it. As soon as they said snips, I fucking lost it because I immediately knew that's Anakin. Of course, she slowly turns around and she says, Anakin. And then it pretty much, you know, he has this smile on his face, then it goes to black, and boom, that's where it ends. But I do wonder where they're going to go at the next episode. But what I do typically, I watch the captions. And if you watch the captions, it says at the very end, Vader's music. So it lets me know at what point did we what point in time do we have Anakin here, basically. So is this Anakin before he's turned, or is this Anakin after he's turned? I'm not quite sure. And the next question is, did Anakin pull Ahsoka out of that situation? You know, because we all know how it is with the world between worlds, how it was when Ezra pulled Ahsoka out of that situation. Is Anakin in the world between worlds? How did he get there? And did he pull Ahsoka out at that moment when she was falling over the cliff? This would be so interesting, but I'm really curious, like what happens, because you can see Ahsoka so excited to finally see Anakin, but which Anakin is this? You know, like, but I do believe that in this episode, we're going to get a lot of Ahsoka and Anakin in the world between worlds, and I'm telling you, we're only halfway through. We're only halfway through this season, and this series has got me by the balls, man. It has got me by the balls. I'm freaking hooked, man. And Dave Filoni was taking his time to let these series cook, and you guys out there kept saying it over and over again. This episode's going too slow. Why haven't we got to this yet? Yada yada yada. You gotta let the man do his thing. Like, the best meals you ever get are the ones that take time, that cook in the kitchen, and he's cooking it in this series. And I'm just absolutely for it, man. I absolutely love it. I cannot wait to see where they're going to go with this next episode, because they got me by the balls, man. They got me by the balls. But to wrap this up in a nice little bow, let me tell you, this episode was great. This episode was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. That's pretty much my immediate thought, my immediate reaction to this episode. I am going to go into a much more spoiler take on this, and you guys actually be able to see that reaction again, and see my take on it. But what are your thoughts on this big reveal? Did you enjoy this episode? Whatever your thoughts are, please drop a comment, and if you're willing and you're vibing with me, please hit that subscribe button too. And thank you so much for joining me on this, and as always, may the force be with you.